Welcome to the final part of Star Wars Battlefront 2. The Death Star has been destroyed. Off screen.
When the Death Star was destroyed, about half of the 501st Legion was still in the hangar getting into their ships. Of those who made it out, another third were caught in the explosion. I'd fought with some of those men for over 20 years. Afterwards, those of us that survived hooked up with a nearby Imperial fleet making a retaliatory strike on the Rebels' base on Yavin 4. It wasn't the best thought-out plan, but we were cut off from our leaders, tired, and operating on instinct. If not for our training, we probably would have never gotten past their orbital defenses.
Alright, so we're dealing with a literal skeleton crew, and if I calculated the death toll of the 501st, the Legion has about 10,000 at most. Oh damn! 5,000 dead? Man, we are fucked. We're so screwed here. We gotta find this Skywalker right now. That dude's a murderer. But here are the final 3 missions of the game's campaign, which more or less ties back into the movie events, more so Episode 4 and Part of 5, though this mission more or less takes liberties with the Battle of Yavin. You still have the Death Star destroyed, that's always going to be a thing. But there's always the part of A New Hope where it ended and everything just resolved itself happily. That's not the case in the greater scheme of things. This is how it really happened. You see, after Darth Vader escaped, he did not take things lying down. And apparently so did the 501st, or what's left of them, and here we are. Our first goal is to destroy these transports. And the reason why there's a time limit all of a sudden is because, well, if you've seen an indie film called The Last Jedi, I know, classic good film, I know. The rebels are trying to hyperspace drive into us, which may wind up killing everybody in the solar system, and probably everybody in the neighboring solar systems, so we're trying to stop that right now. I remember the internet exploding because of that one scene from The Last Jedi where Hoth crashes the ship into the other ship at light speed. And I gotta say, out of all the things from The Last Jedi, that was not that bad. Out of all the things that did not make sense in Episode 8, like Luke's training of Rey, the hyperspace drive made the most sense because it's a last resort. And yes, I know, you got a few people that might argue, why not just hyperdrive into people more often? Well, no, you're gonna destroy more than what you're aiming at because hyperspace physics. There's gonna be shrapnel everywhere because of that, and there's probably gonna be a populated planet or moon or space station or space creature in the local area. So don't hyperspace drive into solid objects. It will not turn out good.
Pilots, if they are allowed to make the jump to hyperspace, they'll rip right through us.
Hell, even Solo said something to that degree in the first movie. Alright, so we got rid of the transports and the corvettes. Now we just need to get rid of the fighters. So I'm gonna need something that fits the occasion, and luckily, it's gonna be the Interceptor. I loves me some TIE Interceptor. Even though the A-Wing's not bad. If I were to pick between A-Wing and TIE Interceptor, I probably would go with the A-Wing, but the TIE is not bad in and of itself. Alright, where's my darling Interceptor? Where's the Interceptor at? Are you kidding me? Just a crappy TIE fighter? Oh man, I have to use this piece of crap. The TIE Fighter. Jesus. I can't even fly the TIE Fighter! The TIE Fighter, as you can see, is worse than the TIE Interceptor in almost every way possible. The blaster cannons on the fighters is slow, it's pretty inaccurate. I guess the purpose of the blaster cannons is more suited for flagships, but even that's kinda dangerous. Because the TIE Fighter is not a bomber, hence the name TIE Fighter. This is the most jack of all trades in a ship. It's really kind of disappointing. Every other ship has what the TIE Fighter does, but 10 times better. If we're talking about ships within the same class as the TIE, then you got the Droid Starfighter, which is aggressive and quicker. the Arc 170, which is hella aggressive and way quicker, and the X-Wing, which is admittedly slower than the TIE Fighter, but it has better cannons at least. Oh well, I just need to rely on my photon torpedoes. Or proton torpedoes. Photon torpedoes are from Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek. Remember Star Trek when that was good? Like the Next Generation and Voyager and the original series? And the first 6 movies? The slow motion picture. They honestly thought Star Trek can do what 2001: A Space Odyssey did. No, you can't. You honestly can't. Anyway, what we need to do... Wait, was the time limit always that lenient? That was 5 or 4 minutes. Anyway, what we need to do next, and I think this is the last objective, destroy the enemy's engines. That will deter them from going into hyperspace. I mentioned this in part 2, but you can glitch yourself outside of the Imperial ship and just walk outside in the vacuum of space. Completely fine, mind you, you don't need air. And you could just walk on the edge of the Star Destroyer. Or choose to fall into the void of space. That's what I like to do. Okay, we have to destroy the turrets first, and then we can go for the engines.
Those engines, men. They can't jump if they haven't any engines.
I know you're trying to blockade these guys, but why not just move out of the way if you're sensing that they're going into light speed? Or hell, better question, why is it taking so damn long for the rebels to go into light speed? What's going on? Sir, we need 10 minutes before we can jump into hyperspace. Why? Dramaticism, that's why! Going back to the Last Jedi Skywalker movie, Episode 8, at least they had a reason why the hyperspace drive was not working on the rebel ship. It was broken. Yeah, that was the best reason. Wait, that was the reason in Episode 5 too. The Millennium Falcon was broken. Man, Star Wars ships actually kind of suck if you don't keep up with them. But that's besides the point. Final objective, go! Destroy the engines. And that will be the last of the space missions in Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Victory is ours, men. Dispatch the 501st to the planet's surface. Yavin 4 will fall before the day is done.
And so the battle over Yavin came to an end. I'm told we destroyed hundreds of rebel ships that day. Even if it had been thousands, it wouldn't have made up for the Death Star. By the time we landed on Yavin, whatever shock we'd felt at the destruction of the Death Star had been replaced by anger. For months we'd treated the rebellion like a disobedient child, only to be repaid for our tolerance with treachery on an unimaginable scale. Frankly, I don't remember much of the fighting. I guess we won.
Okay, you all know the mission. The Rebel base is located in that ancient temple over there. Our first job is to take the Rebel command post located in the ruins of that stone fountain just ahead.
I love that journal entry in particular for the line of, "I don't remember much of the fighting. I guess we won." That just goes to show the clone troopers' mix of feelings about this whole situation. Because you hear annoyance, you hear anger, but you also hear some sort of indifference in his voice. And I forgot to mention this, but the voice actor for the retired stormtrooper of the journals is none other than Tamora Morrison, the same actor who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones and the Bounty Hunter video game, as well as Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. Morrison was also the voice actor for various other clones in the franchise, mainly all of the clones from Battlefront 1, 2004, as well as Commander Cody from Episode 3. It's not just Star Wars he's famous from, well, he's most famous from Star Wars, obviously, but he was also in movies like Green Lantern and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Okay, yeah, those are good movies. Yeah, definitely Green Lantern. Okay, I'm gonna be fair, Tamora Morrison and Ryan Reynolds were at least, they were the best actors in that film, even if Green Lantern, the movie itself, was a piece of shit. But anyway, welcome to Yavin. The mission itself is okay, but Yavin is a map. I've always hated this place, even in the first Battlefront. It's a really poorly thought out location. There are lots of hills everywhere. Vehicles don't really work on hills, so you're just inclined and you won't be able to make accurate shots, and everything's just a mess here. It's not even really a good sniper location either because of all the trees and fog. You could get some mileage out of the technician by slicing people out of their vehicles, but good luck. You're going to need it. I feel sorry for that poor stormtrooper, damn. Go to the reflecting pool. Okay, the reflecting pool is not a bad area.
Counterattack could start at any second. Defend the reflecting pool with all your might.
Time for another endurance round. Defend the reflecting pool for 2 minutes. You can command some of your comrades to follow you, and that's as far as the squad commands go. It's a bit weird because Star Wars Battlefront 1, which came out a year before this, and Republic Commando even, which came out a few months before this, had better squad commands. But it's not a total loss. There is some depth, kind of. Depending on what rank you are, you can command more soldiers. You start out as the rank of private and you can only command 1 troop. If you make it to the rank of sergeant, that will be 2 troops. Captain will be 3, and general, which is the highest rank, will be 4 troops you can command. And that's it. You can't command heroes, but you can command everything else, including the natives like Ewoks and Wookiees and other creatures. You can also command vehicles, or at least tell them to halt, that way they can stop. And when you're in vehicles, you can tell people to either get in or get out of the damn vehicle. So the squad commands are a thing indeed. They're a feature. As whether or not the troops actually want to follow your ass, that's another problem. Like I said before, the AI is not the smartest, and they'll probably do the opposite of what you tell them.
it's time to breach the security door on the temple. A unique breaching bomb has been left at the point marked on your map. Retrieve the bomb from its drop-off location and place it near the temple security door. The bomb has a 10-second timer, so you better start running as soon as you set it.
We're going to do an extreme version of breaking and entering. First, we need to get the bomb that's on top of this pyramid and deal with a plethora of turrets. Avoid the turret. Shoot this guy for one thing. Yeah, take that, Lan Olessa. Lan Olessa sounds like a Star Warsy name, but not Star Warsy enough. Nom Carver? Now that just sounds like a guy from Philadelphia. And everybody's favorite name, Rebel. Yeah, apparently all the Alliance members in the campaign don't have names. I think that's actually an inconsistency of the Classic Collection, because for some reason, whenever you're playing as the clones, they have the Rebel names or the Imperial designation numbers and not the clone designation numbers. Greek alphabet letters like Gamma, Theta, Alpha, those are for the clones. And sometimes you'll see Aaron Gunlighter, the clone, got killed. And you're like, what? That's not a clone sounding name, but okay. Anyway, the last goal of the mission here is to destroy the head command of this place. And they are Bothans. You know I'm gonna make the joke. You know I'm gonna make the joke. Many Bothans were killed trying to get this information to us. Was it many though? I feel like it was just 3 Bothans. And 3 Bothans indeed it is. The way you deal with Bothans, you have to be careful because they will turn invisible and you cannot see any of these guys when they do that. Or at least you wouldn't otherwise if the arrows weren't there. So you want to get the jump on these guys. Use grenades if you have to, and stay as far away from these guys as humanly possible because they have incinerators. And those things mean business.
Vengeance is ours, men. The spirits of our fallen brothers will sleep soundly tonight.
After the battle, the surviving members of the 501st finally caught their breath. The Empire had taken the rebels' best shot and come up standing. Now, it was our turn to strike. No one ever complained about the cold on Hoth. We never felt it. Even though we were blinded by blizzards, we could see the final end of the rebellion in our blaster sights. Was it only a mirage, perhaps? But on that day, on that planet, our blood ran hot with dreams of victory, melting the ice that stood in our way.
There is no tomorrow, men. Today we crush the rebellion once and for all. You know the orders. Destroy the shield generator in preparation for Lord Vader's arrival. Next, focus all efforts on preventing the final transport ship from lifting off. We'll begin by taking over their Outlook command post. Move out.
Final mission, here's Hoth. And we're in a race against time. We're trying to prevent the second transport from getting away. The first transport is away. The first transport is away. Here, the mission generously gives you 20 minutes to perform all of the tasks. I don't even need that much time. I can beat this in 10 minutes flat, and honestly, I think the mission would have benefited if he had a tighter window, but that's just me. First off, we need to capture the forward command post, and this is one of the only maps in the game where the Snowtrooper is playable. The Snowtrooper is just the Stormtrooper, but for snow and blizzards. And I actually like the Snowtrooper design way better than the Stormtrooper. It just has this more menacing look compared to the Stormtrooper. Maybe it's the mask over the helmet, maybe it's the different variations of white in the suit as opposed to stark white. I don't know, there's something about the Snowtrooper outfit. Now, the Battle of Hoth was a very climactic scene, which happened very early in Empire Strikes Back. That was a genuinely surprising thing for a movie like that. To start the sequel with an epic battle and then end the film with a more personal battle between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker is pretty amazing. Not a lot of movies did what Empire Strikes Back did. It was a really creative film for its time. You have a lot of really good camera shots. If you actually watch the film in the original format from 1980, it still looks good. The film grain looks good. You got dynamic characters in Han and Leia and Luke. Pretty good story, even though it was recycled in The Last Jedi. Yes, space chase and training. That's The Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi. Those two films are not really that different. But Empire did it better. And then, of course, there's the plot twist. I am your father, which I'm sure everybody knows about. If you don't know about it, then watch the movie. Come on, seriously, watch The Empire Strikes Back. That movie is over 44 years old. What are you doing with your life? The only bad thing about The Empire Strikes Back, which is kind of a me problem, is the way it ends. I don't like cliffhangers. And if you're going to watch Empire Strikes Back, you're probably going to need to watch Return of the Jedi afterwards. I mean, you can't watch The Empire Strikes Back in a vacuum as the only Star Wars film. I mean, you could, but you're not going to get the full story or resolution. Like Harry Potter, like Lord of the Rings, like The Hunger Games, you need the full story. But other than that, The Empire Strikes Back, I think it's still my favorite Star Wars movie outside of A New Hope. I mean, if a movie could be perfect, then The Empire Strikes Back is pretty much perfect. Anyway, here's the bunker that we need to capture, and in the first game, you can actually take this bunker as a shortcut to another part of the map. Here, you can't do that because the passageway is actually caved in, so you can't take that shortcut. Steve Blum sounded really upset there. Anyway, next up, we have to destroy the shield generator. It's a pretty simple task. The shield generator is a sitting duck for the most part. What you really have to watch out for are the speeders, just for the event that they actually tie the AT-AT up if you're using them. Which for my multiple playthroughs over the 20 or so years of playing this, which is probably in the hundreds, the AI speeders only tied me up 3 times. They are absolutely dumb. This is where phase 2 of the assault begins. We have to infiltrate Echo Base and find a way to destroy the transport. There's only going to be one way into the base, and that's going to be through the hangar. So I'm going to disembark here because the AT-AT is going to take at least 10 or more minutes to get to the hangar, and I ain't got that type of time. I'm going to use the most mobile unit in Battlefront 2, the Dark Trooper. This will get the job done quickly, or so I hope. So what's the deal with Dark Troopers? Are they supposed to be robots, or are they actual human beings like they're depicted in this game? Unless if the switch from human to droid was a Disney choice. But wait, then again, Star Wars Force Unleashed, I think the Dark Troopers in that game were droids too? And that game was not under Disney, so I don't know. That's actually a good question. Why are Dark Troopers human in this game but droids everywhere else? Kind of a bizarre oversight, unless if there is a Dark Trooper unit that is actually organic. It's zappy time though, as rebels are getting shocked. Poor rebels. Oh no, wait, they deserved it. Screw you, rebels! I'm with the Empire on this one. These rebels are they're dirty. They keep respawning though, it's making it hard to clear them out.
to gain access to the back hangar. We must destroy the final transport before it can escape. Excellent work, Lieutenant. I'll inform Lord Vader.
Okay, I had a choice to play as Darth Vader, and I accidentally pressed no. Whoops. Oh well, this is the story of the 501st, not Vader's story. We've seen him plenty of times. Even though I kind of wanted to play as Vader so I could get past this next part without a problem. We're slowly inching our way closer and closer to the rebel scum. And you may be wondering, wait, if this is the final mission, where's Endor? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I read on Wikipedia that the 501st actually retired after the Battle of Hoth. But there's also information that the 501st came back after the Battle of Endor under the Imperial Remnant. That was when Admiral Thrawn, or whatever his name was, took over the Empire. Or at least I think he took over the Empire at that point. I don't know. I don't think Thrawn even lived that long after Endor. If anybody who knows more about that side of the lore and the comic books and stuff, let me know in the comments, because I genuinely don't have a clue about that part. All I know about that was blue-skinned guy named Thrawn, Luke became evil a couple of times, which was weird, and another alien species invaded the galaxy. Final stretch. This part can be easy to cock up because the device is very fragile, which is why I wanted Darth Vader to be the guy in charge here, because he can tank a lot of hits. The rebels will throw a shit ton of grenades at this explosive device, which in all intents and purposes should prematurely set the device off and kill everybody. Apparently not. No, you just failed the mission. Oh, it's a radar beacon. Okay. That makes more sense why they would throw grenades at this shit. I'm stupid. Jesus! Man, watch those wrist rockets, am I right? Alright, spawn back in quickly before they screw everything up. Now, you only have a minute to defend this thing, but trust me, the health bar is not so great on this beacon. So I want to keep these guys at bay. The rebels, for some reason, want to funnel in through one side of the trench and not dogpile everything, which makes things easier. I don't get why they would not go in through the other side of the trench too. And that will be my final "the AI is dumb" comment for this game, in which the AI indeed is stupid.
Start your burn.
Goodbye, rebels. Except one of the transports got away, and Han Solo escaped.
As the rebels fled, the 501st gathered around a burning bunker and let out a cheer that shook the stars. The rebellion was done. The Death Star was being rebuilt bigger than ever. Order had finally returned to the galaxy, in no small part due to the efforts of the fighting men of the 501st.
So kind of an abrupt ending, all things considered, but since we're telling this from the bad guy's perspective, I guess it makes sense. And also, it's been confirmed that this campaign was indeed a last-minute addition to this game. So what do I think about the 501st campaign of Star Wars Battlefront 2, as well as Star Wars Battlefront 2 as a whole? This might still be top contender for the best Star Wars game ever made. The presentation of The Rise of the Empire is A+. While yes, you do get the film clips that are haphazardly thrown together, and you won't get much context clues out of just looking at those clips if you haven't seen all 6 of those movies, but the narration itself is top tier. God bless Tamora Morrison, man. He knows how to play a clone trooper. There are more game modes that I'm probably not going to show, like the Galactic Conquest mode, which is really just the game of Risk. If you ever played that board game, it's pretty fun. You attack the enemies and they attack you. It's kind of a back and forth. And you also get more credits and units as the game progresses and proceeds. Oh, gotcha. Proceeds. You got the 2 eras with the 4 factions, so you're good on that front. And then you got instant action, which is pretty much your exhibition, do whatever you want mode. You can pick whatever planet you want and duke it out on the battlefield with friends or by yourself with bots. And on the newer generation consoles, mainly on the Sony side because they didn't get these before, you can play on maps like Rimfar as well as Cloud City now. So that's another reason to get the collection. But take my word for it, wait for a price drop because the collection is a bit janky. There's some audio problems, the hit detection's not that great, especially on online play, and hell, the online play itself is kind of janky. So take my word for it, wait a bit, or if you're a Star Wars aficionado like I am, especially Battlefront 2, get the game. It's fun, it's still Battlefront 2, you're gonna enjoy it. Anyway, I've rattled on for long enough. My name is Don, this has been Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005, and I'll see you guys later.